The Canadian real estate market has been nothing short of an absolute roller coaster so far in 2020, but we are starting to see some very clear trends in the Canadian housing market, where if you were anticipating a massive price crash for this year, that hasn't happened. We're nowhere near that, but we are seeing a very clear trend developing, a divergence in the Canadian real estate market, where single family homes are seeing record sales and price increases. The downtown apartment style condo in the major centers especially is seeing inventory stack up at absolutely shocking record levels and prices starting to decline. We're gonna break all of this down. This is your December 2020 Canadian real estate market update. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Prairie Real Estate and another Canadian real estate market update. If you're new here, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer. I'm a real estate agent from Regina, Saskatchewan, and I like educating you all about Canadian real estate. So every month, I do these market update videos, and then in the weeks in between, I do educational topics all about buying and selling houses in Canada. If you are new here, first of all, thanks for checking it out. I appreciate you coming by. Each city that I cover is going to be broken up into a section. You can check it out right there in the timeline below if you just want to jump to that. At the end of every section, I'm going to give each city a Prairie Real Estate biometer. So you're going to know whether you should sit tight, start window shopping, or get moving right now. If you've got further questions, whether it's you're looking for a recommendation for a realtor or just have specific questions maybe you need some help with, you can leave them in the comments below, or I've got my contact information in the description if you'd like to reach out to me directly. November through January are typically the quietest months of the Canadian real estate market. That's when things start to settle down. We see lower numbers of listings, lower numbers of sales, and if we are going to see price declines, that's usually when we see them. And we are seeing the real estate market in Canada start to settle back into its normal winter season, albeit at pretty elevated levels after the extremely hot and active summer we had. We're seeing the number of new listings slowing down, sales are slowing down, but we're not seeing that typical price decline that we would anticipate to see. And if we are seeing it, it's exactly in line with what we'd normally see in that market at that time of year. So the dire predictions in the spring of 2020 that talked about a massive decline in house prices in Canada have yet to come true, and we're not seeing that anywhere in sight so far. Things kind of just seem to be settling back down to a normal, kind of typical winter season in the Canadian real estate market. But before we break things down and go into each city, I gotta give you another one of my bad jokes. This one comes from another viewer, and I love the viewer jokes. It's kind of like me. I'm not very good with spelling, and I can't spell the word Armageddon. But that's okay. It's not like it's the end of the world. Thank you, Alexander, for another terrible joke. If you've got a great joke, throw in the comments below. What happened in the city of Regina last month? Once again, a big month for sales. The 5-year average is 182. November 2020, 246 houses were sold. That's 67% above 2019, and it's 35% above the 5-year average. So sales continue to be very strong. In fact, year to date, homes sold in the city of Regina, 2,829. The average is about 2,600 for the entire year in the last 5 years. The best year in those last 5 years was 2016, 2,828 houses were sold. So year to date, we've sold one more house than all of the best year we've had in the last 5. I expect about 130 sales to happen in December. That's gonna push us awfully close to 3,000 houses sold. That's gonna be a very big year for the city of Regina. What about listings? Those have been climbing a little bit. 323 listings put on the market, obviously well ahead of 2019, but it's down 10% from the month before. Total properties listed to date continues to trail where we were in 2019 and the 5-year benchmark, but for the first time I've seen since 2013, in the month of November, we had less than 1,000 houses on the market in the city, 955 to start the month. Like I said, last time that happened in November was 2013. So inventory is way down in the city of Regina. The strong buyer demand, the low inventory has been pushing prices up all year long. Benchmark price is up 7.5% from last year. It's $278,000. You notice that's just a smidge below last month, but we expect November, December, January, and even sometimes into February, prices tend to drop just a little bit in those months. So not anticipated or not unexpected to see prices drop in the city of Regina. Going forward though, low interest rates, low inventory, strong buyer demand. I think we're going to see prices continue to recover. I don't know how long it's going to take before we get back to those 2012, 2013 heights where we're at our all-time highs, but we've made up some ground so far this year. And that's why I've got the Bald Prairie Real Estate Biometer solidly in the get moving category. I think this is going to be a good year and it's a good time to buy a house in Regina. Normally though, for the rest of the Canadian real estate market, we're going to jump on the computer. We're going to do things a little different though. You're going to see this, a little bit of movie magic, a little different Canadian real estate market update. Starting off Victoria, let's talk about sales. You can check out the sales chart right here. 795 sales in the month. That's up 37.8% from 2019. It's also up 19.7% just from last month. How about active listings? They've only got 1,813 properties on the market right now. That's down 24% from last year. It's also down 14.6% just from the month before. The benchmark price has been pushed up, obviously, with this hot market. The single family home, $903,000. Although condos did see just a small little drop in price there. You look at the monthly trend here. Blue is this year, green is last year, gray is the trend for the 5-year average. Obviously, Victoria's kind of following a similar trend to last year and their benchmark or their 5-year average. Prices continue to increase in the city of Victoria. Like I said, condos are the only segment that saw any sort of price decline, but single families continue to be very hot. The Bald Prairie Real Estate Biometer, I thought about putting this in the start window shopping category, but I'm thinking this one's got to go into the get moving category because I don't see prices with this limited supply changing in Victoria. So unless you see a huge change in supply, prices are going to continue to increase in the city of Victoria. What's going on in Vancouver? Well, once again, they're smashing sales records. You thought eventually that Vancouver would slow down, but it's just not showing any signs of that right now. But it still continues to be the tale of two stories. You see single family homes and townhouses selling very well, while the condo market, specifically downtown, continues to soften. There were 3,064 sales in the month. That's up 23% from last year, but it's down 17% from last month. That's very typical. Sales start to slow down when the weather cools off. Total sales, though, were 25% above the 10-year average, and it was the second highest number of sales they've had ever in the last 10 years. So very strong month for Vancouver. Townhouses, like I said, they're actually leading the way right now. They have the strongest sales to listing ratio. That's the hot product in Vancouver. 4,068 new listings hit the market, of course, dominated by downtown condos. That's up 36% from last year. It is down 27% from last month, though. There's currently 11,118 active listings on the market in Vancouver. That's up 3.2% from last year. It is down 10% from last month. The benchmark house price in Vancouver, $1,044,000. That's up 5.8% from last year. It is down 0.1% from last month. Looking here at the historical kind of monthly trend, you see that Vancouver is not following any of its typical patterns. We're not seeing that slowdown like we normally see at this time of year. So Vancouver is diverging from its normal trend. Talking with local real estate agents there, they've said that the townhouses, that is the hot product there, with single family homes being far more expensive, and they desire not to have living downtown in those apartment style condos. Townhouses are what's picking up the slack, and that's what's selling very well in Vancouver right now. That's why I'm also splitting the Bald Prairie Real Estate Biometer into two categories again. Single family homes, townhouses, those are solidly in the get moving category. Demand for those continues to be strong and supply is very limited. The downtown condo market, though, I'm giving that a sit tight. I think there's some really good deals to be had, though, and there will be for a couple of months. That market is going to return, and it's going to return to be very strong. But for right now, maybe another month or so here, sit tight. But if you can find a good deal, I wouldn't be afraid to jump on that right now. How about in Calgary? Once again, they had a pretty good month. This has been a trend for Calgary now. We're seeing a couple of months, and the back half of this year specifically, it's been fairly strong. 1,437 sales in the month. That is up 25% from last year. It is down 23% from the month before. Again, as the weather cools off, the real estate market tends to follow that. How about listings? 1,724 listings came on the market. That is down 6.8% from last year. It's down 43% from last month. They had a lot of listings came on the market last month. Active listings, 5,028. That's down 16% from last year. It's also down 16% from last month. Like I said, they had a lot of listings came on the market last month. What's their benchmark price like in Calgary? 423,600. That is up 1.6% from last year. It's also up a quarter point from the month before. Now, as you can see, when you're looking at the monthly price trends for Calgary, they're starting to close in on those trend lines that you've seen. The yearly price trend shows that Calgary has been declining in price, but they've had a pretty good year here recovering some of those losses. The only reason I'm not going to elevate Calgary from the sit tight to the get moving or this window shopping category, and I'm thinking real hard about that window shopping category, is just some uncertainty in their economy. But they do have a very strong stimulus plan, and there's going to be a lot of money spent in Alberta in general. So this could quickly shift to a start window shopping category very quickly in Calgary. It's really interesting when you look at Calgary versus Edmonton, the differences there. We're seeing Calgary increase a little bit in price, and Edmonton just hasn't quite got there. So I asked local agents, why are we not seeing that price increase like Calgary is in Edmonton? It's because the types of industries you have there. Calgary tends to increase and decrease in price a little bit ahead of Edmonton. So Calgary's kind of the bellwether in the Alberta region. So when you see prices increase in Calgary, generally Edmonton will follow suit later on. But let's talk about what happened in the month of November in Edmonton. 1,399 homes were sold. That is up 27% versus last year. It's down 30% from the month before. We're seeing that cooling in the winter here. 1,858 new listings hit the market. That's up 2.88%. It is from last year. It is down 30% from last month as well. 6,205 active listings right now. Their inventory is down 15.7% from last year. It's also down 11% from the month before. The average price in Edmonton, $382,000. That's up almost 8% from last year. It's up 1.5% from the month before. When you look at the monthly price trend in Edmonton here, you see that basically what has been happening is all the sales and price and everything like that has shifted over a couple of months. So you can check that out there. And Edmonton is really neat to see the cyclical nature and how much weather plays into the market. Those bumps in price, those are the spring market, and the troughs, that's the cooling off during the winter. So just like Calgary, I'm putting Edmonton in the sit tight category right now, just with some uncertainty in their economic situation. But if there's as much stimulus coming into the economy as is being talked about and projected right now, this could flip very quickly and you could see a strong recovery in Alberta. So Edmonton could very easily switch to the start window shopping very quickly. Saskatoon, much like Edmonton, is kind of a bellwether for the province of Saskatchewan. So when you see pricing trends, sales trends, anything like that in Saskatoon, typically the rest of the province follows suit. And we are seeing increase in sales in Saskatoon. What happened last month? 358 sales happened. That is up 47% from 2019. It's down 20% from the month before. So we're seeing the effect of the cooling weather slowing the real estate market down a little bit, but it's still way up from last year. 424 new listings came on the market. That's down 6% from 2019. It's also down 47% from the month before. They had a lot of listings come on the market last month in Saskatoon. The strong demand, low number of listings come on the market, that means inventory is down. 1,120 houses on the market right now. That's down 36% from the year before. It's also down 20% from the month before. And in fact, inventory in the market is down 50% from the 5-year average. So we're really seeing the number of houses in the market in Saskatoon start to shrink quite a bit. Their benchmark price is up 5.6% from last year. It's now over $303,000. It is down 0.5% from the month before. We typically see this with cooler weather, results in prices coming down. If you look at the monthly price trend, that's exactly what you see. Prices tend to cool off in the winter. If you look at the yearly trend here, you can see Saskatoon has made a big recovery, much like Regina did in the last year. Prices have recovered a lot of the losses over the last few years. Because of this strong market we're seeing in Saskatoon, I've got it in the very clear get buying category for the Bold Prairie Real Estate Biometer. I think Saskatoon is going to continue to be strong for a while here. I think the two best things to come out of Winnipeg are the Guess Who and Andrew Harris. And you guys are lucky Andrew Harris came back to help you guys win a Grey Cup, or you'd still probably have the longest drought in CFL history. But I digress. Let's talk about real estate here. We're in a big month in Winnipeg. 1,193 houses were sold. That's up 32% from last year. It is down 34% from the month before. 1,379 new listings came in the market. That's down 12% from last year. It's also down 29.5% from last month. 3,136 active listings to start the month, down 37.5% from last year and down 13% from the month before. Their average price is $358,000. That's up about 2.5% from last year. If you look here in the monthly price trend, you're seeing that Winnipeg, think about Vancouver here, Winnipeg, prices are diverging from their typical trend. We're seeing prices increase like crazy in Winnipeg, not typical this time of year. Local insight I got on Winnipeg is that anything from $200,000 to $450,000 is selling like crazy right now. It's a very hot part of the market, but their condo market is a little bit soft. The low inventory levels and strong demand is continuing to push up prices, and I don't see that changing without a lot of supply coming on the market right now. So in Winnipeg, the Prairie real estate biometer says it's time to get moving because Winnipeg is a very hot market right now. Home sales in the Toronto real estate market are continuing to be very strong. They're easily on pace to surpass their 5-year average. And in fact, right now they're on track to have their second best year in the last 5 years summer homes sold. So the Toronto real estate market continues to be very strong. Of course, single family homes are the leader there, whereas condos are softer. We're gonna talk about that in a second here, but 8,766 homes were sold. That's up 24% versus 2019. It's down 20% from last month, but it is 20% above their 5-year average. They had a big month in November. 11,545 homes were put on the market last month. That is up 33% versus last year, but it's down 55% from the month before. That's basically equal to their 5-year average for the month of November. 13,798 active listings. That's up 15.4% versus last year. It's down 25% versus last month. Our overall inventory, as you can see, is basically equal again to their 5-year average. But these higher inventory levels have been driven predominantly by the downtown core, where we're seeing huge numbers of condos listed. In fact, it's up 300% from last year. That's what's driving those higher numbers of inventory, where single family homes are really low right now. Let's talk about benchmark price. The benchmark price across the entire Toronto real estate market, that's up 10.5% from last year, and it is up 1% from the month before, sitting at $902,000. This is the composite benchmark price, so it includes townhouses, apartment style condos, and single family homes. Everything's all blended into one in that. If you look at the monthly trend, you can see Toronto's kind of following the same curve as it does not only from last year, but also in that 5-year trend line. When you look though at the yearly price trends, you can see here prices have continued to increase in Toronto, but hey, look at 2017. Prices have declined and they may decline again in Toronto. So anybody tells you prices never go down in Toronto, well, just tell them look at 2017, prices do drop. And much like Vancouver, I'm gonna split up Toronto into 2 categories, the Prairie real estate biometer, single family homes, townhouses, get moving. Those are selling exceptionally well. For the downtown condo market, I'm putting that in the sit tight category, but I'm very likely to elevate that into the start window shopping pretty soon, because I think this is an opportunity for deal hunters to pick up some of these downtown condos, new construction stuff, relatively cheap because of the lack of demand. But once tourism and the international student market comes back, you are going to see strong demand for those return. So that's where we're at for the Prairie real estate biometer. Ottawa continues to be one of the hottest real estate markets in Canada and has been for a number of years now. 1,611 houses were sold. That's up 26% versus last year. It is down 33% for last month. Their 5-year average, though, as you can see, it's only about 1,300 houses sold a month, so they easily surpassed that. 1,635 houses came on the market. That's up 31% from last year. It is down 10% from last month. 1,537 listings, active listings right now. That's down 37%. It is also from last year, it's also down 25% from last month. Single family home inventory is down 50%, but condo inventory is up 25%. The average price for a single family home is just about $603,000. That's up 20% from last year. It's virtually unchanged from the month before. If you look here at the benchmark price trend, you can see prices in Ottawa continue to increase like crazy. And Ottawa's experiencing a real estate boom, obviously driven heavily by the federal government, the increase in the workforce there. And I don't expect this to change until we start seeing a reduction in the number of people working for the federal government. Prices are going to continue to increase in Ottawa. And that's why I've got the Prairie real estate biometer saying, get moving, it's time to buy in Ottawa. They've got too much demand and too low a supply to do anything but drive prices up. You're probably getting tired of hearing me talk about the Montreal real estate market being super hot. It continues to be hot though. They had 5,334 homes that were sold. That's up 32% from 2019. It's down 7% from the month before. But home sales in Montreal are already 20% above the 5-year average for the entire year. They are crushing it in Montreal. Median price for a single family home, $435,000. That's up 23% just from last year. It's up 1.3% from last month. The median price for condos did drop about 1.2% from last month, but it's still up 9% on the year. 5,981 new listings came on the market. That's up 31% from last year. It is down 23% from last month. There is 13,698 active listings to start the month in Montreal. That's down 15% from last year. It's down 5% from the month before. The 5-year average here, if you take a look at it, for the number of homes for sale on the month of November is 22,000, and they have 13,000 right now. Wonder why prices are going up in Montreal. Much like a lot of other cities though, we're seeing that divergence. Single family homes sell well, townhouses sell well, apartment style condos are not as strong. Little insight though from local realtors, the luxury market, so anything over $1 million is selling exceptionally well right now. Homes over $1 million, those are up 25% in sales. Condos over $1 million, those are also up 13%. Prairie real estate biometer, solid in this one, get moving. Montreal has a supply problem, and with a strong demand, prices are going to continue to increase until that changes. In the news, you're going to hear about how hot the Toronto real estate market is, or the housing boom in the Vancouver housing market. You don't hear as much about how hot the Halifax market is, but that's quietly probably one of the hottest markets in Canada and has been for a number of years. They had 647 houses sold last month. That's up 22% from last year. It is down 22% from last month. 1,275 active listings right now. That's down 67.5% from last year. And they're probably down about 60% from the previous years. They're down even just 9% from the month before. You wonder why prices are going up like they are in Halifax? There's your answer. Average price, $359,000. That's up 12.5% from last year, and it's up 1.2% just from last month. Prairie real estate biometer, this is an easy one. It's a get moving on this one until you see a massive shift in supply or demand. Prices in Halifax are going to continue to rise. So what the heck is going on in the Canadian real estate market right now? In the spring, there was some very negative predictions that the Canadian real estate market was going to see some pretty significant declines before the end of the year and into the first half of 2021. Instead, we saw prices increase all through the year. Then there was talk in the fall of the mortgage deferral cliff, where all these people who had deferred their mortgages were going to be unable to resume paying those mortgages. We're going to see the inventory levels get flooded with new houses on the market because those people had no choice but to sell those houses they couldn't afford because they couldn't go back to paying their mortgages. We didn't see that either. In fact, 99% of those who took a mortgage deferral have resumed paying their mortgage. So what the heck? Well, like you're seeing in a lot of these cities, we are seeing a very distinct and diverging trend. Single family homes are extremely popular right now, whereas the downtown condo is definitely not. As people have left the city center and looked for those single family homes, they've been met with a pretty common problem, and that is lack of supply. That's been an issue in Canadian housing markets for a long time now. There's just simply not enough supply for single family homes. When people all of a sudden start looking for them in even higher numbers than typical, prices have gone through the roof. Then you've got that downtown market where it's driven heavily by tourism, international students, and those that like the downtown lifestyle. You've seen people leaving downtown and an almost halt to tourism and that international student market, which has caused rental rates to drop like crazy for those. And people have decided it's not worth it. They don't want to hold on to these anymore. And you're seeing huge levels of condos come on the market. That's pushing prices down. People are deal hunting right now and finding some pretty good deals. So right now, if you are that deal hunter looking for that downtown condo, this might be a good opportunity to pick one of those up. Because when we start to see people feeling more comfortable living downtown and tourism and the international student markets come back, and they will, I think we're going to see just as strong of a jump in demand as we saw for single family homes for the downtown condo market. And that's probably going to happen in the back half of 2021. So this is your opportunity if you're deal hunting for condos to get into one of those. If you are thinking about buying and you're in one of these markets that I've covered, or even if you're not, but you want to get in touch with a good real estate agent, I've got my information, like I said, in the description below. I can put you in touch with a fantastic agent in your area. If you just want more information though about buying a house in Canada, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, right here is my first-time home buyer place. Check that out. It's going to answer a ton of questions that you might have all about buying a house in Canada. If you're a seller, well, I've started a seller's playlist. You can check that out. It's going to answer all those types of selling questions. As always, guys, thanks very much for watching.